want to go? time. He does this every day, man.
Why are you unbanning him? Just keep him
I don't
banned,
know,
bro.
bro. Man.
Go. One more to go.
welcome everybody to the Onward VR Master League Season 12, Week 8. My name is Nightfire with 2 E's. I am joined by my co-caster, the Sky Joker. Sky, how are you feeling today?
I am feeling absolutely fantastic. Had a bit of a late night at work last night, but I made sure that I would get enough sleep for this amazing cast that we have going on here today, or at night, or evening, wherever you are in the world.
Yep, we got VR Loyal Dogs versus Bursek, 2 teams that have been around in the EU since Season 9. Loyal Dogs around since Season 8, I believe, but veterans, if you will, to the VR Master League and playing these competitive matches. For those that are tuning in and maybe are wondering what they've stopped in for, this is Onward. It is a 5 versus 5 military simulator. One team attacks the objective, the other team defends the objective. The attacking team has to get within a certain range of the objective to enter in a 7-digit code. If they can do that, they get 2 points for their team. Otherwise, if you kill the opposing team, you get 1 point. And so each objective gets played on defense and offense. Each team has to both attack and defend the objective. We then change objectives every 2 rounds, and it comes down to a best of 7. So the first team to 4 or higher wins the map. We play 3 maps. As you can see, they are to be determined still. And those are determined by our home and away teams. VR Loyal Dogs is the home team today. Bursek is the away team. There is a pool of maps that the teams can pick from that have been predetermined. From that pool, the home team can ban 1 map. The away team then gets to ban 1 map. And then the home team picks the first map that we will be playing on. The Loyal Dogs have put those bans up now. The Loyal Dogs have banned out Downfall, and Bursek have banned out Hook. And so, Sky, I'm kind of curious what you think of both of these maps being out of our map pool for today's matchup.
Well, I went back and looked at some stats, and Bursek's most played map that I noticed in their history was Downfall. Though VR Loyal Dogs are definitely trying to take a strong, what they consider a strong map for Bursek out of the pool of selection. Hook being one of the newer maps in a sense of the custom variety. I think Bursek just don't feel as comfortable on it, even though they're a seasoned team. This is not a map that they are seasoned on.
Yeah.
So I think this was a ban of weakness in order to kind of level themselves out a bit. But that still leaves the other custom map of Arctic in play, as well as another long-range map, I believe. Is Snow Peak in the pool?
Paradise is there as the other custom map.
Okay.
Yeah. The opposite of Snow Peak.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Paradise is there in the map pool. That definitely... It's more of like a quarantine than anything, but we'll see if we even get there. Our first map is going to be a map that has been around for a while, so something we're very familiar with, Sky. Subway is where we're going. It is the map picked by Loyal Dogs. What do you think of this Subway to kick things off?
Oh, man, Subway, always a fun map. I'm not biased or anything, but... let me take some last-minute check at the stats here.
Yeah,
so, VR Loyal Dogs picking Subway. They have not played each other on Subway in the history of VRML yet. However, VR Loyal Dogs have a lot of history just by themselves on Subway with playing it 25 times in their history. They've got only a 46-round win rate, so not their best map. But again, they are experienced on it. We'll see if Bursek is able to counter that. Let's go ahead and take a look at theirs. They have 32 times played, of 43%. So, according to the stats, they're about even.
Yeah, and you know, it's an interesting choice. When you look at the rosters, which are almost full here, we're just waiting for the lobby to populate. When you look at the rosters of these teams, they do have veterans, right? Players that have been around since Season 8, Season 9. But there are also some new additions. So, you know, the stats do give us a picture, you know, but maybe not the full picture. And yeah, to your point, they can try some different strats out with different players, especially if you have, maybe one player exceptionally good at throwing grenades. You can put them in certain positions, and there's a lot of different options here when you start to add in new players. I know Bursek have a player that's new to season 12 in the league this season on their team. Loyal Dogs, I know, brought one in last season. I think they also have a season 12 player, but I can't be 100% sure on that. But the rosters do have that sort of new diversity to it, and so I don't know what to expect. One thing I have been mentioning this week, Sky, is that we're into the real meat of the season, right? Week 8, kind of the heart of things. We still got almost 7 weeks? Yeah, 7 weeks ahead of us left a regular season. And right now is when you do get the very good even matchups. And so maybe what we can expect here today is just a good, solid, even matchup. Both teams with experience and knowledge of the map. And now we get to see them duke it out, go for that brawl. And our first objective is going to be the north objective, which we can talk a little bit about.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be a crazy start.
It's going to be exciting. It's, in my opinion, the most exciting objective on this map, with, I would say, the lower basement coming in pretty close. I always enjoy to see how Marsoc units kind of breach that lower platform, whether they go all in through the tunnels, whether they use the stairs.
Right.
It's a fun little game to play on Subway. There's so many different options.
Yeah, it should be pretty dang exciting. And before we get into the action, we do have the active rosters for both teams here. Let's look at that. Over on VR Loyal Dogs, we have I'm Donnie, Hakine, Gauko, Oxers, and Gary. And I'm sure I'm going to pronounce Gauko like 6 different ways today, because there's no other way to go about doing it.
Just depends on in the moment.
Gecko, Gueco, Goiko. There's all sorts of different ways to go about it. Over on Bursek, we have Partisan, Mike, Oogway, The Guy, and GDim.
Master Oogway. Oh boy.
Could be a good, solid matchup. I think those are... I don't think there's any subs coming in here. Yeah,
nope, those are all
active rosters. So maybe for those that are interested in getting involved in the VRML and playing competitively, the best way to do that is to head over to VRML.com. You can find links to your favorite game, whether it's Echo Arena, Pavlov, Onward, Snapshot, whatever it is. And you can sign up for the respective league. You'll find links to the Discord, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, all the different platforms, so you can be engaged in that competitive community. And then you can also join the VRML HQ Discord, where you can kind of get that, join that central hub where we talk about all sorts of different VRML games, and there's all sorts of ways to get involved. You can be a reservist, which means that you join a team during a match when they need an extra sub, or you can be on an active roster, and so you can pursue a team that's looking to recruit and recruiting new players and hop on. There's all kinds of ways to join, and we're global, Sky. The best way of showcasing that is we got the Spanish versus the Russian squad here today. We'll see how Bursek does up against Loyal Dogs.
At the usual early push out by the defense from Partisan. Gonna put out a flashbang, but we don't have the usual quick push out from the offense. They've actually spread out Hakine, picking up a very aggressive defender, The Guy, early on.
Also, Hakine flying out from the basement here. They very clearly sent just two here, Oxers and Hakine, into this bottom floor, and Hakine came flying up. Now has control of this subway rail and can look over in from this south side. The only real concern is if Mike swings in onto the stairwell and does look down here towards Hakine, and Mike very well could do that. Mike also has to be careful to watch for the catwalk, but I don't think they're investing anybody in the catwalk approach.
No, this is definitely gonna be one of those opposite attacks that you usually expect from north. It's going to be one of those, send one guy on the north stairs, make some noise, cause a distraction, but the bulk of the attack is going to come from the south, I suspect.
there is that distraction you're talking about, sending out some of those shots from I'm Donnie with that LMG. It's such a huge risk to peek, too. I mean, I don't know if you saw, there's C4 placed on these stairs. That's going to require nade defusal. There's another C4 placed up on the ledge, I believe.
Like, are you going for the flank right behind I'm Donnie?
Oh, interesting.
Because they only sent Donnie out there, it's opened him up to be vulnerable for this type of a flank.
Oh, Donnie does
my
check
God.
back, though.
Oh! Barely finds the shots right around that dumpster.
Wow.
And that's going to be now a 4v4, and that takes down the north approach, so that's going to let Berserk know, hey, they're coming from the south.
Evening the odds up here, and yeah, they have all the information that they need to properly defend. The question is, are we going to see rotations off of this information? You know, something like Mike coming down from the south stairs could be very devastating to this push up through the center. Oxers, Gary, and Gauko are not going to be checking the south stairwell as they push up here towards objective, especially after they're clearing all the way forward here. So I gotta wonder what the plan is. If Mike sits up there, that's a really risky spot to stay.
Yeah, so the risk is Mike being that far off objective, as you said. If the people start dying and he doesn't rotate back, that's a cap opportunity. However, I think Mike's thought process here is, one, he hasn't fully cleared this north area. There could be somebody else hiding up here. But also, once he has it in full control, now he can sit and make sure nobody late rotates up there. Kind of double-edged sword.
Yeah, and we do have a lot of time on the clock here. Oh, no,
Oh,
team kill on
team
the
kill.
stairs. You hate to see it. Gauko finding one of their own. And it's information for Uguay to use. He certainly heard those silent shots. Or maybe he didn't. The MCX is one of the quietest gun in the game.
Super quiet. But he definitely would have heard the shots hitting the teammate.
True.
Those are
And the
pretty
death.
loud.
Yeah.
Uguay in a very powerful position here. He's watching the angle late. So they have to cross out far into the open and look backwards in order to see him, which most players are not going to do unless they're very specifically clearing that spot.
I like
And there's
this play
already
from,
2 other spots they have to clear.
I like the play from
What's
Loyal
going
Dogs.
around?
Smoking out that entry, and then Gauko's going to swing around behind. And there's the easy kill. Uguay getting denied, distracted by Oxers in front. This is a nice play from Loyal Dogs. They know what they're doing on this south entry. And it's now a matter of Berserk trying to react in a bit of an off-meta position. It's hard to defend effectively all of that tight corner where you can cap in, where that smoke is right now. Mike has to commit, and Mike's in the smoke, making sure nobody's capping. GDIM has to check and put out suppressive fire. Mike stays tucked in and actually catches one in the smoke. Oxers finding one in the deep end.
But it's happening while he's blind.
Yeah, Mike. Oh my goodness, they know they're in the corner there. Gauko does finally, what a crazy finale, kill Mike. Round 1
Wow.
wraps up in chaos, but Loyal Dogs take their Marsoc round and go up 1-0.
Wow, what a finale to that round. The idea for Mike to jump into that smoke and actually sit in there, that is the attempt to shut down what's been deemed the smoke cap, which, as we were talking about in the midst of that action, what teams like to do is throw smoke right onto the objective and actually sit in it and look down at their tablet where you can just make it out enough to cap while you can't be seen. It's very tough to counter, and that's why you saw the kind of panic going on with the LMG into the smoke.
A fun play, like you said, a really cool way of utilizing that smoke in the corner, and wow, this is a good start.
To dive into it.
Yeah, it's an exciting start. What I like seeing is 2 things: both the reaction from Mike, a nice way to try and counter that, but that play from Loyal Dogs. I mean, they knew exactly what they were doing on the south entry to smoke that lane and then push through it. That way, you're checking the inside corner and you're and you're safe peeking the opposite side. You can then go into the door, find the back kill. I mean, just really nicely coordinated and well executed. from the Loyal Dogs. They certainly deserved that Marsoc W with that play working like it did. And Bursek put up their best effort, but it's hard to defend from the south when you're trapped on sharp corners on the north. You basically have to expose yourself. There's no 3/4 cover that you can really take advantage of.
Yeah, that south push is so hard because there's so many different crosses you have to make where there could be enemies on either side of you. But if you get to that doorway and clear that guy out like they did, I mean,
it's chaos.
If you have more than one player, it is very powerful.
Back into the action we go for round number 2. If you are just tuning in, you're here in time. Map 1 has just kicked off. The Loyal Dogs have started it with a nice Marsoc W. It is their map pick, and so really the absolute perfect start to this round right now. See if they can pad on, put up 2-0, or if Bursek can muster up a nice Marsoc round themselves. So far, it does look like a bit of a different strategy here. I think Mike and the guy, just based off what I'm seeing right away, Mike and the guy are going to hold this for, I would say, a couple of minutes, right? They're just going to sit here, make sure no flanks come in, no aggression from the Volk side. And the rest of Bursek are going to work their way and gain control of the south. GDM and Partisan coming in down from the catwalk, and they'll have this catwalk uncontested. They'll be able to take control of these stairs and then have to make this exit that the Loyal Dogs did, pretty much the same one. The difference being is that Loyal Dogs have Hakine on one side, and they have Donnie tucked in on the trash bin in the center. And so they have a little extra reinforcement for the south. And if anything, it looks like it's a bit weak on the north. And so maybe the duo on the north could be pretty effective, depending on how well the C4 gets used, what utility come down. It is all going to be about the initial setup here, getting through Hakine, and then the execution to get past the Oxers and Donnie.
The little Onward psychology here. They say teams tend to defend how they attack or attack how they defend. You notice VR Loyal Dogs in the round previous had a very strong south attack, and now you look at their defense, and they are defending for what would be their attack, heavy south push with a weak north.
It's
like they expect the same thing.
Yeah, it feels like a bit of a gamble, but it may pay off here. Hakine's gotten very close to spotting out GDM. Oh my gosh, I think the crouch got underneath the line of sight of Hakine there. I don't think they could see over that bench. And so GDM is going to make it inside the brain. I just have to be careful about team kills, right? Because GDM is in a dark corner. They're ahead of the rest of the offense, and they're aiming towards the team. So if you are a Bursek player right now and you spot GDM quickly, you see a dark figure aiming at you, and sometimes that can result in a quick team kill. Oh, there are the shots actually onto GDM, and Partisan luckily misses. Where was that from? Oh, it was from Hakine.
It was, yeah, it was Hakine. He was shooting just between the rail over there.
Wow, and
There's
Partisan.
that Murtis.
Almost catching out Hakine there. C4 detonated a little early. That's going to limit the support on the north there. I really think the north entry is going to be key for this Bursek push.
And if you notice on 2, there's also the old flashlight trap trick right on that corner where people like to cap. So I'm wondering how that's going to come into play. Master Uguay finding I'm Donnie behind that trash can. That's going to weaken that south defense. And now the defense is going to have to rotate to try and cover some of these holes.
Yeah, they are still okay in the south with Hakine here. They also still have Oxers as a last line. Gary, where is Gary's position? Oh, they're just out in the center behind the small bar there. So they're not necessarily safe either. They could be clipped onto the shoulders if Partisan finds the right angle. But they have still a few left up through the center.
I think if the north push on the stairs takes out Gecko, and Gary finding Partisan, if they take out Gecko, and Gary now has to rotate out of his position. If he gets picked off, this is a cap. Unless Oxers is able to run out quick enough.
It could also be a straight-up kill win now, as the Kine is down. Oxers gonna be next up. If Gary dies and this duo here gets rid of Gauko, it could be a very fast, just straight-up kill W. But they only have 1:10 left. They're gonna have to push through on this execution phase now.
Oxers shuts down the attempted back flank by GDIM. Now bringing this to a 3v3.5. I don't think that res is going to come out onto Hikain. As I say, that Oogway finishes him off into an even 3-3. With 2 on the north stairs, smoke comes out, and the callouts are being made. Now Gary's going to have split attention. He's looking for Oogway, but now he has to worry about the rear.
Scout goes down. Gary has to react off of this. The flashlight's there, but that's not going to be the ultimate deterrent. Gary does quick beat the corner, and they go down. Oxers has to push. The cap is available
Objective
for
open.
Bursek. Guy has to get up here. Oxers is full crashing in on the corner. Oogway has a line, doesn't take the shots, but Mike is the one that finishes it off. The right reaction from VR Loyal Dogs. Thankfully, Oxers standing up and recognizing they're the last one and crashing towards objective. Otherwise, that is 2 points into the hands of Bursek. They did exactly what they needed to do to cap, but just couldn't quite get there in time. The slow crouch up to the corner. Man, just get up there and punch the code in, you know? It's
Oh, so tense.
Yeah.
So tense. And even his teammate was like, go, 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 go. And he's like, I gotta take my time, yo. I'm thinking about it.
Wow. Well,
My knee hurts.
we talked about it offline. There is a custom map that you can load into where you can just practice entering in the code. And maybe something we should recommend to these squads here today so that they can really be a little bit quicker on the punch. I mean, what's crazy, though, is that even these mid-tier teams, the silver, bronze, even gold teams, they are still very good. Like just yesterday, we saw a very fast cap come in from the LF Aguades. I mean, it was like 2 or 3 seconds, and they are a silver team, you know. And so it's there are some players that are still exceptionally good at it, despite where they may be in the overall rankings worldwide. Either way, a close attempt, but not enough. We'll see if Loyal Dogs can manage to snag a cap here. We swap sides, we change objectives, and we go back into the action for round 3.
One thing you see with competitive games like this is a tactic or mechanic will pop up that only higher level players can do, and it's, you know, it's very hard to do. Higher level players do it, and it slowly becomes a normal thing to do. Such as backtapping. Trade comes out early on. All the utility being thrown back and forth. The guy trying to find Gary.
Aggressive fire getting dumped down to Gary. Gary
Goodness.
trying to fire back. That's a good grenade toss. Does it go far enough? It does. The guy gets caught out in the deep toss. A nice one from Gary. And meanwhile, we have another bit of an exchange over on that stairwell as Oxers is looking to challenge GDIM next.
Yeah, GDIM had a really nice timing with some C4 to shut down the first push, but now Oxers is going to come double up here and find the back of GDIM. And now they have a 3-way push coming in. As I say that, Donnie gets shut down by another great C4. And we're into a 2v2. That was
Fast.
Yeah, no kidding. And in all 3 entrances, we had action.
Love to see the C4 placement, you know, especially on a map like Subway where there's a lot of dark walls and corners. The C4 can really just become invisible when you toss it onto a wall. And it is one of the most It's so interesting how C4 gets utilized, but, you know, it's never or very rarely used on Downfall, but almost always used on a map like Subway. And it's for reasons like that, a great C4 disruption there on what could have been a multi-pronged push. It now cuts Loyal Dogs into this duo where it's just Gary and Oxers. And, well, it is a 2v2, so like you said, we're in an even point here with 4 minutes left.
У меня двое.
Very curious to see what the attack
Я
looks
на
like
месте
here from
АГВ.
them. I don't think they have any utility left either.
Lots of communication going out, which is what you want to see when you're into these later parts of the round with only a couple of you up. Unfortunately, we don't know what the communication is, but we're going to assume that it's productive. And they're going to try again for a dual-pronged attack. Wow, the great reaction from Oxers to shut down Uguay into a 1v2. Smoke to attempt to cover his cross. Not quite where he wanted it to be, but Partisan gives away his position. Rotating for the kill, and Gary with the nice flank. Gonna finish it off and give VR Loyal Dogs their second point on their map pick.
Pretty solid job. Again, the
Great offense.
are we just gonna keep trading of all things on Subway or trade Marsoc rounds?
Crazy.
Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. But hey, we're trading Marsoc rounds. The attacking team is winning here. Whether it's Loyal Dogs or Bursek, seems to be that we continue to trade rounds back and forth. Bursek now go on the attack. Loyal Dogs defend. We stay at the same objective. That's the way the game works. And we get to see what Bursek are going to throw out there on the offense. But I mean, again, Loyal Dogs putting out a good play there. You know, it is hard to execute a multi-pronged attack. It is hard to hit all three corners at the same time. And to your earlier point, we had action on all three fronts at the same time. They were attacking all the angles together, even though they were all spread out. And so a really nice job from that Loyal Dogs offense to get the setup and turn it into the 2v2. And then the execution with the split, very nicely done. We love to see the teamwork come in there to help get that flank kill. And, you know, Bursek put up a great Marsoc round last time as well, so nearly capping. I'm curious to see what their attack looks like here. It depends on what spawn they get. For those not in the know, Marsoc have a variety of spawns per each objective. And so that means that Loyal Dogs do not know where Bursek have spawned in. And it is the sort of variety of Onward that can make things a little bit interesting. They do get the south spawn. They can attack very early here. So we are going to see quick action, I would expect, much like we saw last round. Depending on how the defense rolls out, if Gary overextends, there could be bad news. But looks like they're going to tuck in and play things patient. Not too aggressive on the Loyal Dogs defense.
Yeah, they played a push out to get to these positions early, but they are not playing as fast as VR Loyal Dogs is. They are stopping here, and they are ensuring that they have full control of this sector before they continue and move on.
Important to make sure that they've cleared this out, because it does allow GDIM and Partisan to exit out of the stairwell that they're in with some knowledge, you know, some information for them to work with, so that they can comfortably challenge Gauka, who is in a common corner down here in this dark side. And look at that awesome timing. As soon as they drop away, Uguay peeks. The C4 gets detonated, doesn't catch anything out. Bursek get rid of some utility, and you can see Gauka trying to signal to the team that there's players over here down the street.
Something interesting. Bursek has utilized a lot of time to flank around the various parts of Subway. However, they essentially are still coming from the same direction.
Right, yeah. With GDIM and Partisan connecting with Uguay here, they didn't really need to split off, but gives you a different angle, different split. If Uguay fails, then Partisan and GDIM have an opportunity from a different approach.
The guy and Gary right on top of each other. Gary with a quick peek out manages to come out on top on that engagement. And now Mike, not quite there for the refrag yet. Gonna get naded on, but it was not cooked, so he's able to get away.
And now that Gary has pushed Mike off the corner, Gary can effectively sit here and hold the angle. So Mike is not going to be able to push out. And it doesn't look like Mike necessarily wants to. They've dropped back and are waiting for the counter aggression. But it's not coming. And I got to wonder if Mike is going to re-challenge the angle or just kind of give up on it and reconnect with the trio.
While that's all happening, GDIM has made his way all the way to the cubby and now has a beeline onto Gecko's position. If he so much as peeks out for even a moment, GDIM has it lasered with a drum mag as well. So he could actually choose to suppress that position while his team moves up.
Ooh,
Nice
Mike
flashbang.
re-peeks.
Wow.
Challenging Gary on that angle, gets control, and now Oogway is dropping back. This looks like it could turn into a 2-2 split if they wanted to. Oogway maybe second guessing that choice. They still have to root out Oxers, who's tucked in deep here.
Wonder if Mike has any more utility on him. He does have a smoke. He could go back and get us another flashbang from his teammate, and that would help him in this clearing.
Yeah, I mean,
Oxer's really tucked in.
The position isn't unknown, though. You know, Mike is looking here in this tight corner for a reason.
Oh, GDIM and Partisan also making their move. Again, great timing and teamwork in the sync. Oh, but Partisan runs out the open and dies 3 times. And GDIM manages to get the refrag.
The hit fire from that, too. They did not see that coming. It was a turn in burst. Somehow Mike catches Hakine and gets Oxers. What a thread onto Hakine down there. Donnie is now alone, and they're getting tagged up. They can't even hold the objective as they flash out. That's a good flash. Oogway and GDIM are blind. Donnie's trying to swing in time and can't make it. Persec with 2 alive. Snag the round. We continue to trade Marsoc points.
Wow, what an attack. The teamwork. That Subway is all about the sync and the teamwork and the multi-prongs. And that's what both of these teams are doing, and that is why we are trading so much. Just beautiful execution. And Mike, again, as you said, that great threaded angle to cover any sort of rotation off of objective, nailing those shots, hitting the trade. Wow.
Solid gameplay from both of these teams here today, and they are not making it easy on the defense, that's for sure. These attacks are being executed very well, and we now, again, change objectives. We head on down to very much the opposite side of the map into the far train basement. An objective that arguably is Volk favored over Marsoc, and so maybe we see our first Volk win here on this objective.
This is going to get really dicey because there's 3 entrances, 5 defenders. So do the math, you can pretty easily set up to defend those. However, as soon as there's action in multiple breach zones, as we've seen in the previous objectives, I mean, it just gets so chaotic being down there at the very bottom in a confined single tunnel, basically. It's just so hard to defend yourself from one angle while shooting at these stairs, while worrying about smoke grenades. Just so much to deal with. Not great if you're claustrophobic.
Yeah, not optimal if you are claustrophobic, but a fun objective to be headed to. And while we have a little break between rounds, a quick moment to shout out our sponsors. We have several sponsors and companies that come together to help promote the VRML. Those are ProTube VR, which offer great mounts for your controller to help stabilize your aim. VR Cover, which offers great comfort additions to any of your VR headsets. VR Wear, which helps promote our merch. So if you want to go ahead and head over and pick up some VRML sweaters, You can do that at VRware. We have HyperX, who helps provide the high-quality HyperX Quadcast S to our casting crews, and also the headsets into that prize pool. VRML contributing as well to the prize pool, and Border Foods also there. One of our newer additions, a company, one of the largest Taco Bell franchises in the nation, supporting VR esports. If you want to learn more about that partnership, you can head on over to borderfoods.com/VRML. Those sponsors come together to offer what is now over a $7,000 prize pool in cash and hardware. So we really do appreciate all of the support from them and encourage you guys to go check them out. We're going to have links and whatnot getting posted soon enough in chat. That'll help with discount codes and whatnot. But for now, go to vrml.com/sponsors list. Anyway, back into the action we go. That's the spiel. Round 5 kicks off, and everyone's set up on defense.
Camera 3, I caught a C4 getting dropped that could come into play later on as the stage up and the execution comes in.
An interesting placement, definitely one that could get detected if oil dogs are paying attention. Could certainly identify that C4 placement there and shoot it. If you shoot a C4 before it's detonated, you can defuse the C4. Maybe an odd way to defuse it for some of you, but it is one of the ways that you can prevent the C4 from detonating. I could run into some action soon here, Skies. Galco's going to push down the guy tucked into the corner here. It's sitting in the darkness. Oh, and there's the turn to detect Galco there.
A good pickup going to help them take hold of that middle platform. And it seems the rest of the Berserk defense has opted to basement/tunnels, while the tunnels are actually not being utilized by the offense, at least not yet. Maybe late round we'll see a rotation down there. But as of right now, it is essentially just the basement. And the offense has pretty much the entire round and the whole mid-platform to play with.
Partisan, because there's no one in the basement, is free to move up to a potential flank position.
Ooh. If he times this right, this could be devastating.
I mean, there could be a lot of things that could go bad for the Loyal Dogs here. That C4 still hasn't been defused, despite Gary scanning past it several times. The flank could come through. There's a lot of possibility here for a couple of deaths.
I think Gary might spot it out here in a second. He's on the right side to see it now.
But they're so focused down the tunnel.
Field of view. He's using night vision. That field of view is cut quite a bit, making it hard to see on your peripherals.
No,
however, he made it past.
If they drop back at all.
I think it was, wait a minute, I think it was Partisan that actually had the clacker, who they've already taken out. They've already taken out Partisan, so no, that is a dead C4 essentially.
Very fortunate. And here's the push. They have one on the flank, but Donnie is here with the smokes. They're on the corner. The other entry coming in from Galco. And
Partisan
Gary
needs to be doing his flank right now.
But GDim's also not even here. GDim's deep. Galco is...
What is happening? Right onto Mike's position, but Galco naded himself. He peeked on his own grenade. And Partisan just now coming in for the flank. Right behind Hikine, gonna find him in the back. The revive onto Gecko comes out. GDim still not coming back. As his teammates are dying, they have control
huge smoke
of the
here.
objective. This could be a cap. They're pulling tablet out there on it. GDim now finally rotating, but the tablet's already out. And the code goes in. VR Loyal Dogs taking Subway. And another RSOC win, this time a cap.
That C4 wasn't dead. It got detonated by GDim. GDim was in the basement waiting for the audio cues down those stairs to detonate it.
Wow.
And they just never heard it. So they never thought anyone was on these stairs.
But it was GDim C4. Okay. Wow. So yeah, they just didn't catch it.
Wow. Fortunate for Loyal Dogs for sure, and it nets them a 4-2 map 1 win. Like we were mentioning there earlier, if you can manage to capture against your opponent's team, you get 2 points. And that is exactly what Loyal Dogs have done. They go up 2 points now. They lock in map 1, and we now change our entire map over to Bazaar for map number 2. This is Bursek's choice. I was getting Bursek and Bazaar confused in my mind, and so I almost said we're going to Bursek, but we're going to Bazaar. Bursek's map pick. I mean, Scott, there's not a... It is different than Subway in a lot of ways, but it is still a close quarters map.
So, my thing with Bazaar, it is high variety, a lot of flank potential, just like Subway. There's less thin corridors.
Yeah.
It is definitely more open. There's more potential for mid-range, but your general engagements are gonna be up close, personal. You're gonna see the white eyes of your enemy.
Yeah.
But again, there's more time, setup time, I would say, because again, more open field. It is a bigger map, so more time required to get into your stage up.
Right.
But the essentials are there. You have to flank. You could do 5-man approaches on Bazaar, but it's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, it is a big risk.
There's a lot of crosses to cut off.
Uh-huh. Curious to see what we get here out of Bursek. Again, as it is their map pick, they will be going on to the attack. The opposing team gets to choose side, and whenever you're given that choice, well, pretty much whenever you're given that choice, the teams will pick Volk. They'll pick to defend first, and so Bursek is attacking on their map pick here. Loyal Dogs will be starting off on defense. You know, I like to talk about the momentum of a series here. Loyal Dogs are definitely looking good right now. I mean, their attacks have been... Every single Marsoc attack has been met with success. Especially the last cap. They have not lost a Marsoc round yet this series. And I gotta wonder if they'll be able to put out some Marsoc W's here on Bazaar. Not gonna... It is so much different, so I just don't think it's gonna be as easy, but if they execute on their setup phase like they have been, if they set up as well as they have been around the objective and then push in together, it's going to be really tough for them to manage the momentum of VR Loyal Dogs right now. And so you got to be careful with a team like this. Loyal Dogs could get even more aggressive off of a nice 4-2 win like that.
I'm looking at the stats. They've only played each other on Bazaar once, and VR Loyal Dogs did win, but I'm not sure what season, how long ago that was. We've had rotation in players, so again, the stats can only give us so much, especially when you take into account the change to 1.8. You take into account all the changes in rule sets, the way different things interact, smoke, shields, everything. It's a whole new game.
Going to be an exciting map 2 here, to say the least. And while we wait for it to kick off, a quick shout out to everyone that is tuning in, whether it's on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, or Horizon Venues. We do appreciate you stopping by and hanging out. Venue is a fantastic platform. If you don't know what it is, you can go ahead and download the app for free on your Quest or Quest 2. And you can then watch this game in the headset with other people in VR. A really cool way to socialize, but also a great way to enjoy the VRML action. Speaking of, there should be another stream live right now of Onward. If you do want to go ahead and catch that, you can head on over to twitch.tv/onward_VRML. I also do have to check here quickly to see if Echo Arena is still live with the Redshift LAN, and I believe they are. We could be coming to the conclusion of a game or two there, but a lot of VRML action is going down right now. The Echo Arena season is going to be starting up as well in just a few weeks' time. And so you will be seeing Echo Arena showcases here on twitch.tv/VR Master League and on Horizon venues starting next month, most likely. And so that'll be in addition to the Onward showcases. So there's going to be a lot of VRML action on the weekends, but also go and follow the Twitch channels if you want to catch midweek games. There is so many VRML teams playing throughout the course of a week. I mean, Sky, I don't know if you've looked at the new teams as of late, but there's like, I feel like there was one day where we had 6 new teams join Onward. You know, there is so many new folk popping into the community.
Yeah, every time I go and look at the matches page to, you know, pick out some potential casts, I'm like, who are these people? Where are they coming from? And it's honestly amazing to see VR growing the way it is. Not just Onward, but again, VR just in general. It's the way of the future, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, we do have a quick timeout that was called 5 minutes ago, 4 or 5 minute timeout, and so we should be starting off our map 2 action shortly, but that is why you've had to listen to me and Sky stall for just a bit of time. But it's perfectly fine. It's a good time for us to promote these things and make sure that you guys are all aware of what is coming down the pipe for VRML. I'd also keep the eyes peeled for new games this year. In the VRML, there's definitely some hype from a couple of different communities. Ooh. And that's all I'll say about that for now.
I love new things.
Yeah, me too. And they're going to be super
Tell
super
us
fun
more,
new
Nightfire.
things. I can't, dude. You have to wait. You have to be involved. You have to join the VRML Discord, Sky, so that you can get all the updated news. You gotta head over and follow the VRML Twitter so that you can see those notifications and know what is coming down the pipeline. Maybe there's going to be giveaways over there that you could be missing out on now if you don't follow these channels. So, just a recommendation
I like
from
free
me
things.
to you and the community. Go ahead and follow this stuff. Give Sky Joker a follow on Twitter. Give me, the Nightfire, a follow on Twitter. That's the name, not Nightfire, the Nightfire. Anyway, into the action we go. Map number 2 does kick off. The timeout ends, and Loyal Dogs are hopefully coming in to map 2 fresh and riding the energy off of a nice 4-2 win on Subway.
Oh! A great peek off of that fridge to find the early kill. It's going to weaken that offense very early on in the first 30 seconds. And now it's into the 4v5. This is going to be really tough for Berserk to approach with only 4. It's a very wide open objective, and with the defense staying relatively tucked, other than Gary kind of peeking out over those pallets, it's going to be hard to dig them all out.
Oxers has found their kill, and they're going to drop back just a little bit, but still looking for these aggressive peekouts into the center. And yeah, Berserk just in a stalling pattern right now, if you will. The guy going for a slow cross here, deep on the street, trying to crouch across, looking for anybody peeking. And it is kind of an interesting setup from Loyal Dogs. If we look at the overhead, oftentimes players will invest in defending that same street that the tank and the objective is on. That can involve a variety of things, from going into blue room, going over to the other side of the street, or staying where the current defense is. Oxers has an angle, a late angle, on anybody that would come out and approach the objective from that lane. Hakine has an angle on anybody that would pop out from blue room and approach the objective from that street. And then everybody else is stacked up over in the south. And so it makes me wonder that if Berserk were to stack the north, they may have a successful push, but they are really kind of pushing in to the strong side of the defense here for Loyal Dogs, as we do see 2 invested in the south flank and 2 still sort of waiting for the south to move up.
So Gecko actually caught Mike crossing, and he's now rotating to a separate angle, I believe, to cut him off as he eventually makes his way through the south street. Yeah,
Loyal Dogs seemingly have a person in a position to counter all of these advancements from the likes of Berserk. We'll see if Oxers in particular is going to be catching any of this action soon enough, as Uruguay is also working their way up. And Well, just like last round, Sky, we got to keep our eyes and attention split on multiple factors here as we have to track the entry from Bursek. Much like Loyal Dogs, they also are have been good so far at syncing up their pushes.
Nice shot from Hikine shutting this down. I really like this defense. Between Oxers and Hikine, nobody can rotate north around the back of the objective. With Gecko in his position, nobody can get south. And even if Gecko goes down, Donnie's in a great swing spot where he can just kind of move wherever he's needed. This is a great setup and very well thought out from VR Loyal Dogs. It's going to be tough for Bursek to get close.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I'm taking home here is it's surprising the Loyal Dogs are where they are in their current rank.
Oh,
almost missing that peek out there as they checked their right side as they rotated out, but they do get the kill, and now Bursek are down to just the two in the south, the Guy and Mike. The setup phase here for Bursek getting absolutely picked apart. Nobody able to get into the positions they want to, and it leaves Loyal Dogs with 5 alive and Bursek with just Mike.
Mike with the long shot onto I'm Donnie with the rotation, but now the grenade comes out. Just a flashbang. I don't think it quite found him. Oh, no, it did. And the grenade just inches off. Through the shed, not quite finding Gecko, just narrowly behind him. Gecko manages to get behind the barrels.
Oh, there's the kill. Threading the needle through that doorway. Gecko finds a nice shot, and Loyal Dogs snag their Volk win, go up 1-0, and have the lead here for the series decider map.
That was a great setup. I mean, they almost had 5 alive in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I really do like that spread there. And the only real weakness I see is if a team can get up into that north, in the northeast corner there. It could have been bad news for them. Approaching in from that northeast side, smokes, the tank there to deny vision. There would have been a lot of rotating that the Loyal Dogs would have had to do, but you know, it's kind of like rock, paper, scissors in a lot of ways. You know, are they going to go south into the defense? They're going to go north away from it. Are they going to come up the middle? And, well, the south beats south. And Loyal Dogs now go on the attack. Bursek back on defense as we swap sides each objective. And so we get to see...
I suspect a heavy north push from VR Loyal Dogs. That's going to be my guess.
Even though they padded south, you think that they're still going to go... I almost feel like they are going to go south as well, based off of how they defended that objective.
I don't know, because they had 2 on the cross. They had 1 on the pallets over there in the northeast. Right. And then they had I'm Donnie also kind of peeking that north. So I feel like their north was pretty heavily. But they also had 2 in the south. They had I'm Donnie ready to rotate south as well.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Donnie was there in the northeast more than anything. Hey, I guess these are all the...
We're going to find out.
These are just
Onward
thoughts we're having.
Here.
Yeah, these are just thoughts we're having, Sky. Imagine what these teams down on the field are trying to think and come up with, piecing together all this data and then acting off of it. Get to see that live. We get back into the action for round number 2. Bursek on the defense. Loyal Dogs on the attack. The same spawn for Loyal Dogs that Bursek got, but a very different initial rollout. A very heavy commitment to the cross. The Guy, if they peek up here, could catch out a couple.
Wow. And there's one, but Gecko with an almost immediate refrag. Not quite quick enough to save his brethren.
I don't know if you noticed that, but I love the way they just crossed that street. They sent one out at a time. You know, they had one cross at a time. Gao covering, full confirms the Guy, and they only lose 1. That could have been 3 dead if that whole team decided to push out across the street as soon as they got to it.
Yeah. It was an interesting decision to go and cross that street too early, probably influenced by the spawn that they happened to get. They definitely felt they needed to get across quickly, and that's kind of pushed them into, as you predicted, a heavy south approach.
Got 3 down there. They're going to send 1 over to the northeast, likely drawing the attention and distraction. And if they can keep the northeast diverted, this south push, who do they have to worry about? They only really got 1 or 2 defenders to work their way through to get to the objective. Depending on which way they go, they could just go up against GDIM and push towards objective space.
Yeah, this is definitely a tough defense for the likes of Berserk. They are very pushed out, and the rotations are going to have to come quickly as the fights start to happen here. I think Gary's going to be the wild card here, because it's all going to depend on if he turns into GDIM's position. Oh, but Mike manages to catch him on the corner. A great shot, and a suppressed shot as well. Hikain knows the general idea on where Mike is based on where his buddy died from, but I don't think he's going to be able to pinpoint those shots.
Really nice angle there from Mike. Good pickup onto that corner and puts a bit of a pause in the pacing for Loyal Dogs. They're now down to 3. They lose the one in the north, so that they still have northeast. They lost one early on the cross, but they are spread thin now as they have only 3 left. Berserk are also spread thin on their defense, though, and so it'll come down to how Loyal Dogs execute here. If Hikain decides to peek the same angle that their teammate did and gets scooped up by Mike or not.
He's definitely wary of checking that. He's thinking about it, but then he, again, sees his buddy dead on the floor, and he's like, maybe not. Maybe I'll just go my own way. Gonna run into GDIM here.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this swing works. The guy has to check a couple of different angles. And GDM is staying very tucked in, so Gaoko's not going to be able to hit that from the flank. You have to watch, again, multiple angles as Gaoko and GDM are trying to sync up on their push here into the south. One.
Oh. Now into a 3-3, a key pickup to shut down the defender in the middle there, but Mike manages to shut down Gecko, and now it's just Hikain and Donnie who are very desynced.
This is the defense has gone crazy. Hikain,
yeah, Partisan's just all over the place too.
Hikain could like push up to objective and nobody would see him. There's nobody really holding the OBJ space other than Partisan, who is now checking and now dead. Hikain,
that needed to happen.
They're full sprinting up. They're not full committing to that sprint, though. Oogway is going to swing around.
The objective's open. Nobody's looking at it.
I think Oogway recognizes this, and they're crashing back.
Just saw that. Yes. Mike has not reacted to this, though. He is still far off of objective.
Mike can
and now Oogway didn't even check it.
I know they did. And they go down. Hikain right by the objective. No. Mike has to rotate back, or at the very least hold the angle that they are now down towards objective. And Mike checks the tablet, and they are pushing in towards objective. But this push could work. This guy, if they go in from this angle, this could pay off.
What is Mike doing? Oh, he's going for a flank. Oh, this could pay off. Unorthodox way of getting back to objective. Finds one into the 1v1. Hikain makes the aggressive push with gun down, but he comes out with the reflexes. Mike going down. VR Loyal Dogs taking their second point. And a great attack once again.
I really liked that play from Mike. That was a nice attempt on a rotation through the center. And so close to getting a double kill and clutching it there for Bursek, but it feels to me a bit like a failing in the defense there. The Bursek really just getting too thin, and it's pushing very far out of their initial defensive positions. Sometimes rotating can be good, but if you can get a good triangle with 3 people left around objective, that's more valuable than going hunting, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely that tough choice of, do I run out and die? Do I go straight to the objective? Or do I try and push what tactical advantage my position may or may not have? It's a lot to think about in, the heat of the moment. In 2 seconds, you have to decide all of this.
Very true. Yeah, it's all snap reactions, and we have time to sit and watch it from a bird's eye view and analyze. But yeah, these players much more in it than we are. And I'll show you what we mean by that. There's no lasers, there's no name tags, there's no outlines of your teammates when you're playing this game. It is really a raw input, if you will, and you have to be able to recognize the uniforms of your teammates and recognize the frame of your teammate to know who they are. As we get into the action, I'll turn off name tags and lasers, and this is what everybody sees in game. No nameplates, no UI. It is a very different experience than what we are providing for the viewing pleasure of you folk and for us to be able to track the action. There's just we need to be able to hack to be able to see what's going on while these players already know or are communicating the information to their team. And it's just always impressive to see a team get the right information, radioed in and working together off of that information. And well, Loyal Dogs are certainly communicating about what I can't tell you because it's in Spanish, but I know that they have been active on comms.
Well, the comms are going to be very, very active on an objective like this as we go into Kayat, one of the most chaotic and engaging objectives in the game. Always a fun one to watch.
Way a bit late on the rollout, but everyone has pushed out from their southeast spawn, and yeah, Kayat OBJ should be exciting. Loyal Dogs have to defend and then an opportunity to potentially lock in the series on attack, so a big few rounds here for Bursek. They need this one in particular to really slow momentum. But it also will force the cap necessary in order to take the map next round from if Loyal Dogs are 2-1, and so that's definitely don't want to go in this next the what could be final round 3-0. That comeback's tough to do.
Wow, a long angle with the LMG. Gonna down I'm Donnie on the staircase. A common position, but a very dark position to peek on. Crazy that he saw him. He is using, yeah, just a hollow. Great shot.
Very nice line there, and a good way for
now
Bursek.
Donnie can just make callouts.
Yeah. A very good way for Bursek to start their attack. And like you said, it sets them up nicely. With an LMG on the two-story uncontested, there's a lot of suppressive fire to be done. They can put rounds through all of these wood structures in the center and really be a good suppressive diversion, if you will.
The guy making an aggressive push and right around Oxers, making a lot of noise. Oxer's definitely aware of his position. And Gecko, even. They're both sitting on these stairwells looking backwards. The guy's going to have a tough time digging them out. However, as that's happening, we have two trying to sneak their way directly down the center.
Ooh.
Oh, the guy catches Gecko going for that peek over the staircase.
Майк -1 у меня, и
Got
у
a
меня чисто.
little tunnel vision looking for those footsteps and got punished for it. Now the guy makes his rotation around the back of the objective, and they're going to go for a pinch maneuver, it looks like.
Wow, this is looking like a perfect setup for Bursek. They have to be targeting the objective cap right now to push this thing 2-2, and that would be the answer back that they need on this second map, because right now Loyal Dogs are running away with things a little bit. The guy finds Oxers as they try and peek out. Loyal Dogs are down to one. None. Donnie's dead up on the second floor. The LMG cuts everyone apart, and Bursek take the Marsoc round on Kayat. This forces Loyal Dogs to have to secure a cap if they want to take this round. Otherwise, it could have been 3-0, and all Loyal Dogs would have needed to do is kill the rest of the enemy team. And I feel like Bursek should frame their defense accordingly. You know, really tighten it up around objective, and don't worry about much else.
Yeah, that was a great attack round, but we've seen, as you said, Loyal Dogs with amazing Marsoc rounds, and now going into an objective like Kayat with that kind of coordination. Yeah, Bursek need to be on top of this.
Yeah.
There's just too much cap potential. And this is the series. If VR Loyal Dogs take it, that second map, that series, that's it. They play the third map for MMR, maybe take it in points. But there's a lot on the plate here. And this is not an objective you want when there's that much at stake.
I'm getting inside info from the Spanish communities guy. We're gonna get how to pronounce Galco's name correctly. I just need to know how to pronounce the Ueco part.
Ueco?
Yeah, but apparently it starts off as Ga, like Lady Gaga.
Ga?
Yeah.
Ueco. Oh, I see the chat. Oscar
Go.
to the rescue.
Ueco? Man, that's a doozy. Anywho, back to the action we go. Round number 4 kicking off. Map 2 live. If you are just tuning in, you've missed a exciting map 1 and a couple of rounds here on map 2. If Loyal Dogs can lock this in, they take the series. We still play out the third map, so don't worry. Still have more Onward action ahead of us, but it is looking good for Loyal Dogs now. They go on the attack here on Kayat. If they can secure a cap, they've got themselves map 2 and the series win.
Partisan taking a very unorthodox position here on the fountain, which is common, but usually they look backwards. So I'm curious to see how he chooses to play the fountain throughout this round. And that could potentially be a powerful wild card depending on which way VR Loyal Dogs go. If anybody goes up center, they're going to have to take him down.
Go ahead and look at your overhead. You can see what Loyal Dogs are doing. They're going for a U-shape encirclement around this OBJ.
Oh.
As they whittle away the edges, the centers will push in. And it's going to be like a trash compactor crunching in some cans. We'll have to see if Bursek can pull a Luke Skywalker, prevent that thing from closing, or if Loyal Dogs are going to be able to snag 2 here. Still plenty of time on the clock, 4:40 left.
This is a dangerous offense. So each one of them is almost an individual. They are all taking their own peaks and angles, which is powerful because they can clear a lot of the map quickly. However, if any of them go down, the rest of the team will not really have any information to go off of. There's no refrag potential. So it's sacrificing a lot. However, so far it is working out. Again, they've spanned a lot of the map in a very short period of time. Oxer's nearly challenging the objective at this point, with Akine now regrouping with him. And here we go into the mid stage of the round.
Partisan still pushed up by that fountain and waiting for anybody to come charging in from that side. They're going to shut down the late entry, and this defense from Bursek is looking very tight around this objective. They're not on the hunt right now. Nobody's looking for any kills in the north. These angles are waiting for the Loyal Dogs to push into this objective space.
Might peek out here, out of that north alley here in a moment, and Gecko's in a great position to find it. He does, but in the front we have I'm Donnie taking down Partisan on that fountain. And now at those shots, Gecko has made his way right next to Mike. Pretty sure Mike heard those footsteps. He's gonna peek out now in the trade. Mike only down, and now Oxer's pushing in from the north right next to the guy. This offense is on their execution stage.
Yes, they are. They are pushing in here. G-Dim in an important spot if they lose Oxers here, or if they lose the guy, but I don't know if Oxers is going to be ready. They're going to swing the corner, and the guy shuts it down. A big shutdown at that. But the guy can't sit here for long. They've lost G-Dim on the front, and the guy...
Time's going for it.
Yeah, they're swinging out. The guy's pushing appropriately. The shots are there, and there's the trade. Loyal Dogs take the Marsoc round, but off of kills. And this is why that last round was so important, Sky. If Bursek hadn't held on and defended, this is map 2, done and dusted, 4-0 for Loyal Dogs. So still an opportunity for Bursek now. We get off of that kind of crazy Coyote OBJ. We shift over into the northeast courtyard, the citizen courtyard, and we get to sort of see what styles we get here. There is a variety, right? If you get a quick spawn, you can attack right away. If you can get a slow spawn, which still can be played quick, you know, there is different strats here on this OBJ, but I feel like it's almost 50-50 in terms of leaning towards Volk or Marsoc, the defense or the attack.
Yeah, this one, it really depends on the team who it sides, because if you're a defense that really likes the tight, the condensed, being on objective, this is your type of objective.
Right.
If you're an offense that prefers 5-man push aggression, I don't think this is the one for you. I think this objective really requires being in multiple places at one time.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's just another test of your teamwork and coordination, right? That's the beauty of Onward. You're always being tested, and we'll see what Loyal Dogs throw up on defense as we do patiently wait for the start of round number 5. I am seeing a question or two in chat. Proteus popping in, asking how much money is the prize. As I mentioned before when we were shouting out the sponsors, it is now over $7,000 in cash and hardware. Hopefully that is to grow if we can add on a few more sponsors before the end of the season. And there is 7 weeks left of regular season, so I will keep my eyes on the prize. Should be hopefully growing over the course of the season as we look to add more sponsors in. And that's how that works. Back in the action we go, Sky. Round number 5 kicking off. Loyal Dogs on defense, Bursek on the attack, and they get the slow spawn.
Антох, выйди ты. Огой. Сидим здесь, я чекаю тылы.
Getting the slow spawn, not always a bad thing, but for some teams, hey, they like their quick spawn, they like their quick action. However, I suspect Bursek is perfectly okay with what they got, as they are kind of biding their time to get set up, get together, figure out what they're going to do. But we have that south. That's
иди за Антоном. Я следом за вами пойду, я тылом пошел.
At the moment, Partisan kind of doing an overwatch, looking for that stairwell potential, and then G-Dim just helping box in the defense. The idea here is to make sure none of the defenders are in Coyote. They want to make sure that the rest of the Bursek team can push up safely through the market area.
Coyote, named after the giant Coyote sign above it. The whole building here, the common call out for general trading building. And yeah, Bursek has comfortable control now of that 2-story. And it's not exactly... You can't attack or do anything from it, but you do need to clear it out.
It's not the most powerful position.
You need to clear it out, though, because sometimes a defense can set up aggressively inside the Kayat building and try and spring some traps on the Marsoc squad that does eventually work through it. Because if you do want to get close to objective, if you want to challenge the objective from the front, you have to eventually push out from that building and up to the objective corner. Oxers is here prone, an interesting spot, just waiting for anybody to swing.
If they look through the right window at just the right angle, they might peek a foot.
Yeah, we'll have to see. They should peek these windows. I would think the guy's responsibility is going to be to move up to the window behind Oxers and eventually look through it.
It's just a matter of, are they going to be more laser-sighted outward, out of the building to the other end of the courtyard, or are they going to look close and straight down?
Yep. We also have the duo on the south still setting up, working their way over into that southeast corner. Take a look at the defense. Loyal Dogs are ready. They have Donnie there in that southeast, not necessarily watching the deep angle. And so Partisan may be able to work around Donnie's defensive line. And the rest of the squad, like you said, kind of spread out. Goeco, Goeco.
Echo. Eco. Us Americans.
Terrible.
Into the 5v4 now. The defense slightly weakened from that pick.
Oh, and there's the cross.
Now weakened again.
Partisan gets over there and catches out that peak on the wall. Yeah, this is not looking good for Loyal Dogs. They're going to need some big picks here from the likes of Oxers, but it seems like the guy is aware of Oxers' position there. There's the headshot, too.
Oh.
Minus один. Minus
Oh,
один у
no,
меня.
this is a solid encirclement from Berserk, and now into a 2v5. VR Low Dogs are going to be rushing around. They were ready to die. They knew they were surrounded. They had no kills. They knew the cap would be in poor taste.
Well, the cap would have been the map.
Themselves to get pushed out. Yep.
No, it wouldn't have.
No, it would have been
tied
3-3.
Yeah, it would have tied it, though.
Yep. Yep. And they didn't want that. They'd rather sacrifice the 1 point.
It's crazy that we
Very
keep trading.
tactical decision.
We keep trading Marsoc rounds on Bazaar, though. And no matter where we're headed, I suppose all three objectives do allow for the Marsoc to be able to kind of get the W, but we have not seen a Volk win get locked in yet. And if Loyal Dogs, well, if Berserk doesn't lock it in here, Loyal Dogs are going to take this series. There must have been a Volk win for the score.
We did see one Volk win.
We
did see one. At the very beginning, VR Loyal Dogs had a really nice setup on the tank objective.
Yes, you're right.
Nearly 5 up at the end.
You're right.
But other than that, it has been, as you said, all Marsoc rounds. Very, very well executed plans.
Yeah, that Berserk strategy was great. I mean, this encirclement and the timing was perfectly on point. You know, they 5
up,
all 5 up, and they pushed in at the same time. You know, they had, as the front was challenging, they had the back in the northeast there to take the shots on the rotations through the courtyard. So, really nice job from the Berserk attack. And like you said, we've just been seeing great Marsoc plays this series so far. You know, clearly the team's investing in making sure that they are effective at attacking the objectives. Berserk now have to put out a Volk round, just like Loyal Dogs did early on in the series. Otherwise, it is going to be map 2 into Loyal Dogs' hands, the series win into their hands. And we'll still play out that third map, so again, have no fear. We're going to have more action ahead of you. But for the quick spawn, we got to get right back into it, Sky. Round number 6 kicking off here.
We did have a much faster spawn from VR Low Dogs. We'll see just how they utilize that. Guy and Oxer's already right next to each other. Will the guy push this? He has a flashbang. Throws it. Oh no, it's a frag grenade. Cooked, but too far off. I don't think the guy realizes Oxers is literally on the other side of the wall here.
Yeah, and I wonder if Oxers is going to toss any utility of their own. If they challenge the guy, interestingly enough, Partisan is right there watching. I like this sort of setup they have here. The trouble is, of course, Gary could find a long line down that street.
I think Oxers will find Partisan. Oh, Partisan's actually very well positioned. He realizes the danger of that planter. He is just covered by the corner.
Well,
the spot is well thought out. Yeah, they were, but they actually went for that peak. It was dangerous.
Similar setup from Loyal Dogs, though. They do have 2 down there in the southeast. They're just working through this much faster, likely because of their spawn. Donnie, if anything, is lagging up through the middle as the rest of this team is getting ready to push. There's the flash. No, a smoke over towards Partisan.
Smoke that's going to blind that position, and now he has to rotate off, and Hikain manages to take advantage of that. Great teamwork. Bring this to a 5v4, and a great grenade from Gecko. Master Uguay, and the guy challenges, or actually catches Oxers on a cross, and then a snipe shot to finish off Uguay. Into a 3-4. VR Loyal Dogs pushing on their advantage here. Gonna get all around the courtyard. GDM needs to be reacting to this as the guy goes down. GDM way off of objective.
Yeah,
Gary's
they are
challenging the courtyard.
looking at a nice attack. Again, a 4v2 right now. GDM on the rotation. They have one over in the northeast. Mike alone in the objective space, alone on defense. As GDM goes down, Mike has to hold this all by themselves in a 1v4. We want to talk about a
This
big
could be
clutch.
a cap from Hikain.
It could, but they don't need it, but it could be. Yeah. Well, it would be nice. You know, an extra point is good. Like we talked earlier, the rounds won do matter. Determines how much you go up or down in rank, and so I'm sure a cap is on their mind. The kind is getting closer
Gary
and closer.
just signaled.
There's the tablet.
Oh, a grenade. Mike barely misses, and the cap gets stopped, but Gary was there to ensure that they still take the round.
Loyal Dogs
Our Loyal Dogs
locking
take the
in.
series.
Yeah, locking in map 2. They go up 4-2 on Bazaar. The first sex map pick. We now go to the Loyal Dogs map choice for map number 3. We still play out the third map. It's important to know how many rounds are won and lost over the course of 3 maps. And so this final map is important for Bursek. If they can manage to get this map W or put up at least a couple of rounds like they have been, they will minimize the damage done to their MMR. They will go down in rank less if they can score a bunch of points here on map 3. And so we still should expect good quality back and forth here. But Loyal Dogs definitely with the momentum. They've got the win. They're going to go up in rank guaranteed. So it gives you kind of a little bit more freedom as the winning team to be able to sort of play this how you want.
Yeah, I definitely like to see the third map. I love to see third map deciders.
Of course.
But third map where one team has already won is also interesting. As you said, they can try new things. They can be a little more loose. And it's fun to see when there is that change of tempo and you notice it. It can be really interesting to see how the game changes.
I am seeing Nomad popping in the chat, so maybe we are wrapping up or getting close to wrapping up over on the other VRML channel. If you don't know, you should go ahead and follow Onward_VRML on Twitch, but also follow channels 2 and 3. We oftentimes have multicasts going. And yeah, we do have the VRML 3 game done. They went ahead and rated the Echo Arena LAN tournament going on right now. We'll be directing all of you over there after this, so more VRML action after this game as well. But if you are trickling in from that other Onward match, we do say hello and appreciate you stopping by. And yeah, it has been a good matchup so far. You know, we've gone 2-2 in both maps, and then Loyal Dogs have just kicked it off, you know, and pumped it up 4-2 on the last two maps. And it does make me wonder what we're gonna get here on Suburbia. I think we also may go on a timeout, so we should be into this third map soon, Sky.
One thing I love about Suburbia is the aesthetic, the background sounds, the trees, the birds, even the fire. They do a great job over there at DPI to make these maps as immersive and good feeling as possible, for lack of a better term at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, definitely worth shouting out DPI when we talk about sponsors. They've always been supportive of the league, and always love to see the league in operation. And so we really do appreciate DPI and the efforts that they do put in, providing a solid game to enjoy competitive esports on. If you are tuning,
maybe not solid, maybe like viscous.
A fun game to enjoy competitive esports on. If you like shooters, that's for sure.
Yes.
Looks like we are waiting for a fifth from Loyal Dogs, and I'm wondering if it's a sub. I think it is.
It is. Yep, that is a new Loyal Dogs player. Interesting to bring in a sub after the game has been won, so maybe one of their newer additions to the team that they're training up.
Yeah, I mean, Jolk was just in the chat earlier, so I know they were also watching, you know, and so they had their subs sitting here paying attention to the matchup, analyzing how Bursek was playing, and, you know, I do like to talk about it, but the sub is a really important element in a lot of ways. Not necessary for Loyal Dogs now, but now is a good time to use one. If you do want to sort of train them up, like you said, get them used to playing in a competitive space with the team. But subs also have great value, like they're using Jolk now. If they needed a fresh face and they were coming down to a map 3 decider, they could bring Jolk in, who has been analyzing the series, and sort of bring in you know, a new dose of confidence or a fresh bit of energy to the team. Additionally, you can have subs that excel on certain maps or certain objectives, and you can bring them in when needed. And so the sub is a great element to have in a team. A full team roster can consist of 8 people, and so you can have 3, we say subs, but some teams have really everyone active on their 8-player roster. They just use them in different maps and different scenarios depending on the score and who they're playing. Some teams just use the sub as a sub, and so I'm hesitant to even call them sub, but you can have 8 rostered players on a team. And so
Co-caster's got his camera stuck. The heck?
Uh-oh.
Stand by. Oh, I can just pop to your camera.
Yeah,
there we go.
Use me.
All right. Crisis averted.
We don't need this guy.
I'm always muted.
Yes, you are. It's been a great cast so far with you today, and while we do wait, a quick shout out to everyone that is tuning in here today, whether it's on Facebook, Meta Horizon venues, Meta Quest, Twitch, YouTube, or Meta. We do appreciate you all stopping in and watching the action. I've just been realized I've been calling it whether you're on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, but they're not on Facebook. We're not streaming to Facebook anymore. Streaming to Meta, technically. So.
Oh man.
I'll get the branding right.
The beginnings of the verse.
Just gonna take me some time, but yeah, you can catch the action on all the platforms, and if you are on any of them, we do appreciate you stopping in and hanging out. We also would encourage you to follow the channels, as we do these regularly. Saturdays at 6 p.m. PST, Sundays at 12. And that should be increasing as we add Echo Arena into the schedule. And that season starts, I think, the 26th. Map 3 is underway, though. Persec on defense, Loyal Dogs on the attack. I know, right?
These casters, man, they just talk and talk.
Like we did, like give us gameplay.
Free Fire coming out, not gonna find anybody. One of what Suburbia is most famous for, and a very pushed out defense, aggressing early as they meet in the middle with the offense. Already smokes coming out on the middle house. One of the most another one of the most chaotic objectives in Onward.
Crazy that the guy didn't get picked off there. They crossed from carport over to the corner they're in now. Galkau, Jolk, nobody spotted them getting into this position. They're in a really nice early angle.
They need to check this.
Yeah, they do.
It is a more used position, but man, if you forget to check it, it's so dangerous. More smoke coming up onto the middle house, not quite getting in the window, which is where I think he wanted. D4 goes out early, not gonna find anybody. This house is being surrounded, but Uguay manages to catch one on lane 1. The guy with the nice shot onto Jolk, trying to make that cross, not checking the middle. Gecko getting picked off as well as he neglects to react off of those shots. Now it's just down to Donnie and Hikain next to lane 4 playground.
The guy's position was going to be effective if they stayed there, but the rotation cost them their life.
3v2. It's going to be a matter of, does Mike continue to make all these peaks, or does he hold off? It looks like he's looking for Hikain, and they just miss each other. Hikain might peek again, though. And they trade. But Hikain's only downed in that revive, very likely, unless Uguay catches this cross. He's looking for it, and he finds the back of Donnie. Persec take round number 1 in a defense round. I think their first Volk win of the series.
Is it? I think you might be right on that, because they didn't get a Volk round on Subway. They didn't get one on Bazaar. Yeah, their first Volk round of the series, and all it took was a little counter aggression. You know, they also went after the offense, and those flanks, the pushing, ends up netting them a 1-point lead out the gate. I will say this map is a lot easier to push out a defense than Bazaar was. Oh, for sure.
Subway, you can do it if you do it right, but Suburbia, it's definitely one of the easier maps to do it on. Once you clear a lane, you can pretty much approach it and push out on it freely.
Yeah, it's fast-paced, to say the least. It can be played slow. It is up to the Marsoc rollout, obviously. But, yeah, with this objective, we can expect very quick rounds. And we haven't seen too much slow timings from either squad, even on the attacks that have been successful. There's still been sometimes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes left on the clock as the round ends, and so I don't think we're in store for any terribly long rounds here on Suburbia.
It's a lot of psychology that we kind of talk about in Onward. You got to wonder, how eager are these teams to keep playing, or how eager are they to get this over with? And that definitely affects the pace as well.
Round number 2 kicks off. Here our Loyal Dogs have to defend that same crazy objective in the center.
Oh, shots coming out over on lane 1, not quite hitting their mark. And
Yeah, we need to
GDIM
once get
already getting ready to cross into the backyard.
Yeah, Bursek playing this pretty quick. Kind of feels like a reversal on pacing where Bursek are playing faster than Loyal Dogs. And they're coming out on top. A trade over on that side leaves one Reservoir. So Partisan absolutely able to find another now. Oh, the confirm comes through as that kill comes in, and so it is 4-4. Oh no!
Oh, a team kill! Oh, GDIM catches the guy. Perfect headshot. Gonna shut down his own teammate. Brings us to a 4v3 in the hands of VR Loyal Dogs. And I really like this defensive setup.
So hard to work through. It's interesting because the real solution is just to send everybody up the stairs and throw bodies 5v2, and you'd probably win. But not what's going on here.
Oh! Mike coming out on top in that aggressive push onto Oxers. And now GDIM putting himself into basically a 1v3. He has to get by Gecko's line and then clear out the two up top.
Yeah, and they have Partisan supporting from this corner.
Oh, GDIM just got there. Oh, but he backs up. He backs up into the window and exposes his forehead. But Partisan shuts down Gecko in great coverage. That was absolutely needed.
It's now just the two inside. They managed to clear out all of the edge defense cases and are now in a position where with 3:40 left, Sky, they have all the time in the world to press push up to the objective room.
Partisan going for the standard out in the street, clear the windows. If he goes upstairs into the Volk spawn house, he can get a great angle off any movement up in that second story. Oh, and the trade comes out in a very tight peak, now down to just Joke.
Quite the position to be put into right out of being a sub, but Joke is here alone in the 1v2.
Yep, he's definitely gonna have to hit the ground running here. He's in the right spot. The only danger here is if you can actually cap from the stairs. If you go about a quarter of the way up and put your tablet up, you can actually cap. So if Joke isn't peeking that could be a potential cap right there.
Yeah. Seems like they're both pretty aware that Joke is in the corner, though.
They definitely know of the danger. I don't think Joke's made his presence known in any way. I think this is more of just an assumption. Hey, people like to sit there. He's probably there. But Joke is gonna slow peek it? Oh no, he stopped.
Oh, comes.
Nope, he continues on. Oh, his elbow. Oh, and the slow peek betrays him for Sec. Take the second point in map number 3.
2-0 lead now. Their first more than 1 point lead in this series on the map that really matters to do it on. The final map, they've already lost the series. If they can manage to, take this 4-0, what's the overall score line? I think they actually tie the score 8-8 if they can snag this final map 4 apiece.
Yeah, that would be best case scenario for Sec go into this without 4-0. So while they still lose match, their MMR wouldn't take as hard of a hit,
right,
if a hit at all, with the tied points.
Yeah, go down very little in rank, which is all you can ask for once you've lost a series. So Bursek playing this very nicely like they need to. They now go on defense.
They
We
kept
change
their head in it.
Yeah, we change objectives over to the tank. Middle of the street. Very different style of defense here, where you're not inside that close quarters. Well, you have to spread out. You have to take control of that. You have to have a 360 view of the tank, because you can cap from any side of this tank, and if you lose control of just one of the angles, there could be a 2-2 game into the hands of Versek if Loyal Dogs can work up to the cap. Back into the action we go, though. Map number 3, the final map of the series. As you can see, Loyal Dogs already snagging the W 4-2 on both Subway and Bazaar. But Versek are putting up a nice battle here. We get into round 3 on map 3.
Keeping things interesting here as the offense makes their approaches through lanes 1, 2, and actually all 4 lanes are being aggressed here.
Yeah.
As we go into, once again, a multi-prong assault. All from the same general direction. However, this is a lot of potential angles that the defense have to worry about. Uguay once again peeking under the APC. Reusing positions is very dangerous. Just because they worked the first time doesn't mean they're going to work again, as the offense now knows you could be there.
Yeah, and oftentimes you'll double check these angles to make sure that nobody's there, because you just died to it a round or 2 ago. And if a team is communicating well, then that information was relayed, you know. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
good practice for a team is to go into tent and always say, okay, I died from here, 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 and here. Remember that for later, especially on a map like Suburbia, where you're generally attacking the same direction over and over. The smoke's just covering the street. Common play here on Suburbia, gonna cause chaos on the defense. They have to be checking this. They have to lay down suppressive fire. Partisan with the team kill on the C4. Uguay going down to Austin.
There's
and
the push
smoke
up
is
here.
The offense is pushing out.
Goiko can push in up to this objective space. Partisan goes down. They've lost control of objective. The guy and Mike have to
no
challenge.
On the north side.
No, it's the
They're
cap.
going in for it. This is a cap. They just need to sit and wait for Gecko to type it in. They don't even need to fight. They can just sit there. They leave Mike alive. This is a cap. They need to not shoot Mike here.
Galco doesn't enter the code.
Oh, he stopped.
Huh.
VR Loyal Dogs take the round through the kill and bring it to a 1-2.
I don't know why they didn't get that 2-pointer there, but Versek are spared a tie game.
Interesting.
And a fantastic push. You know, we've just seen.
Oh, it was great. They took them out so decisively. That team kill on the defensive part was quite unfortunate, weakening them from defending against it.
Hard to believe that they are
Man.
They are in the middle tier of the EU ladder.
Yeah,
really,
some solid work.
Yeah. Yeah, really is. A fun one to tune into for sure. This has been a great bit of back and forth all day today. If you have been tuning in for the entire series, we do appreciate you. And it has been a fun one. While we do have a break, another time to shout out our sponsors. They do come together to offer up that prize pool. They are ProTube VR, VR Cover, VR Wear, HyperX, Asterion, Border Foods, and VRML. All of these products and companies are, well, most are VR hardware related. They have great products that I would highly recommend you go check out. If you want to learn more about our sponsors, You can find more about them over on VRML.com. You'll see the sponsors tab. Click on that, and that'll direct you to all the information you need. So you can go ahead and get all of the products you need. You can get the VRML merch that you need and be fully decked out for your competitive season. Back into the action we go for round number 4 as map 3 ticks away.
Я окно.
Like Berserk have a similar idea. They're going to spread out amongst the various lanes. Curious to see if they use as much utility as VR Loyal Dogs did against them.
Yeah, I mean, both sides have put off good Marsoc rounds all day today, so I would expect a similar style of attack from Berserk, really.
Shots
Viene uno
ringing
por
out, not
cuatro.
quite finding their mark. But Oxters
Muerto
finds
uno por
his
uno.
man, the guy. Gonna weaken that lane 1 push. And the offense are very lined up, very insane. They just need to be making these peaks
Oh,
a
combina
little
ese
bit
cuatro.
more sparingly.
Man, wouldn't that be confusing if the guy was a girl? I downed her. Who? Hey. Mike swings on
The girl.
Oxers. The trade back and forth there.
Uno en garaje de casa central.
Only
Kynes
down
tucked
on
in
Berserk.
to a deep
Ooh.
corner, and Berserk, well, they're trading down. We're now 3-3. With Galco down on the 2-story, that's not going to be a res they're going to be able to scoop up.
Great for call-outs, though. This is almost a good thing. As Gecko can see basically everything that's going on and just tell Donnie where to go and where to look.
Maybe it's Galco.
And Hikain and Oogway right on each other. Oogway
Oh.
not... Oh, Hikain just barely not peeking out. The revive comes out, but Hikain finally goes for the peek. Finds one.
Забежал
Gonna even
налево.
things up just a little bit. And the revive gonna come out from Donnie.
Is Jolk
Jolk's
not dead?
position not identified. No, he's alive, and his
Wow.
position has not been identified.
Thought for a second there Jolk was a downed body, but
И капай, 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 капай.
There's almost a hole in this defense. I needs to be watching that cross from Mike. Because Jolk is not looking back at the objective. Mike will just rush right across. Jolk finds G-Dim. His position now compromised. He's going to have to be rethinking his approach here. Or his positioning.
interesting couple of smokes get thrown out there, but none of these denying vision on objective. They have Hikain watching the back entry onto the OBJ, and they have Jolk watching the front, so they have both sides covered. Partisan flies out, and amazing that Jolk sits there
wow.
undetected. What was a 2-0 lead gets quickly rebutted by Loyal Dogs, and the idea of a tied scoreline is thrown out the window. Loyal Dogs are going to take their win, have their cake too, and so we switch objectives. They go back on the attack, and this objective not really easy to hit and get a cap on. But if we do see a thick smoke wall applied, there is room for a push on this objective.
It's almost like we saw a different Berserk starting this map than
Yeah.
we have in the previous maps, and VR Loyal Dogs just weren't ready for it. But now that they've seen the different Berserk for a couple of rounds, they said, okay, well now we're gonna react and do something a little bit different. And now here comes that comeback.
Yep, map 3 not as easy as it was looking for Berserk there. As again, we look at a potential map point for Loyal Dogs. They've won 4-2 off a cap before. So if I'm Berserk, I certainly would not be counting out that possibility that Loyal Dogs will be setting up for an attack. I'd almost take a few more C4 could be of more value here. You know, if you could toss some C4 placements onto the grass out in that by that Humvee, you could potentially catch out a couple of crossers trying to push up for a cap.
D4 and flashbangs. The power of a defensive flashbang on an objective like this, where it's out in the open, there's no top coverage, you can just throw a flash up in the air and stop any cap from happening. And then you just poke out and catch somebody blindly running across the street. The potential for that is very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to see what we get here. It's not looking like a terribly fast push up, but an aggressive swing there from Mike does catch one looking up onto that swing. They're also sending Partisan up for a flank as well. They may catch Goko out, but they do not. They tuck back in. Oxers catches Mike. There's the flash up and over. That's going to completely blind Gauko, but Partisan might not be able to push in time. The flash might be off. No, it's not. Partisan does catch the kill.
Very aggressive defense, and Partisan now has a wide open flank to the rest of the VR Loyal Dog squad. Gonna find one. Oxers in the middle. Now looking for Hikain to push out in the backyard. They run into each other. Partisan hits the shot to Hikain. Not quite ready for him to be so close. Now down to just Jolk once again. Now on the offensive side. And he's being aggressed by two different angles by the guy in Partisan, who's now going up directly behind him from the other side of the building. Gonna find his head, and he gets it. Partisan cleans up and gives Versek a third point.
That's what we saw them get their 2-0 lead with, you know, that kind of flank and counter aggression. It very clearly throws Loyal Dogs off. You know, they're not anticipating that to be there. And, well, they're up 3-2 now, looking at a potential map point. If they can snag this 4-2, it obviously would be ideal. Not going to be an easy task by any means, but they have managed to snag a Marsoc round already on this map, so who's to say they can't here? I wonder what their play will look like. If I'm going to guess, it's going to be a little bit more east-focused. They may very well try and smoke and cross that east street, get over onto the north side of the map, then attack the objective from the north.
Yeah, with the way they've been playing these rounds, I definitely suspect a fast pace and push. I don't see a lane 1 heavy push. I definitely see, as you said, the lane 4 push around with the smokes. I wonder if they're going to put anybody more central, maybe lane 2, to kind of clear out any rotations. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, it'll be...
This is keeping us on our toes.
Yeah, it's a good final third round here today, so certainly a exciting battle. As you would expect, again, as you get deep into the VRML season, the way the formulas work, it is to ensure you that you have good matchups and enjoy the game that you're playing, whether you are a bronze, silver, gold, or diamond tier player. You can really be assured that you're going to have good matchups over the course of a season, and you're going to have a good time playing against players of similar skill level to you. So if you are new, I recommend you check out VRML. Get involved. Back into the action we go. Loyal Dogs on defense. Berserk on the attack. Just a round away from locking in their first map of the series and the last map of the series. See what Loyal Dogs throw out on defense. We are seeing some aggression. Mike already finding one. Hikain and C4 is up over the top. GDIM goes down.
Oh, wow. A great C4 over the hedges. And now some more utility coming out. A grenade just a little off from Mike and the guy. Time has to be worried about 2 positions, but he was ready for it. Finds the guy. And he's actually going to push his advantage here.
Oh, that could cost
And
him.
corner. Donnie finding Oogway with a great grenade. And the cluster comes out now into a 3v2 as Oogway goes down as well as Hikain.
А, Дим, это ты, что ли? Блин.
Not
Keeping
sure what
things
Joke was
close.
shooting at there.
Keeping
Wow.
things very close here, as we have every round. 3-2. But so early on as well. I wonder what utility is left for
70
Mike
seconds.
to use. Crazy.
70 seconds, and we've lost, what, half of the players on the board? Almost? No, exactly half. Crazy. And now the slow down into the next stages of the, well, stage up
Yep.
to prepare for the execution phase.
Yeah, we'll get to see what this duo can do as they are, again, just a round away from taking this map. The last part is the hardest, to get out across this street, root out all these potential defensive angles. It is a quite the task ahead of them, so I'll have to see what they can manage to do together. And without a lot of utility, it's going to be pretty challenging.
Partisan almost caught I'm Donnie in a rotation onto his lane 2 side. Now Donnie is aware of Partisan's position. Oh, they're just dancing around each other. The onward timing here as Mike now attempts this cross. He's going to have to deal with Jolk if he hopes to make it out alive. Even Oxers, actually. They have a nice crossing angle here to anybody trying to get to this objective.
Mike could catch Jolk out. Jolk isn't tucked in very deep onto that corner. Oh, but Mike doesn't see Jolk, and they get tunneled in over onto Oxter's potential position. Somehow Jolk doesn't see this prone movement.
It's so close, but it must be just behind the fence. But as soon as he gets outside that corner, he's caught. And there's Partisan coming in through that lane 2. Just a little too late and looking the wrong way. Donnie catches him. We're into a 3-3 going into a round decider.
Wow.
Or a map decider round, I should say.
Indeed, a map deciding round here. Not the series decider. We've already hashed that out. But it is a map deciding round coming up here. Round number 7. Would like to see it in those first two maps, but glad we do finally get one at least. We've seen so many round 7s this week in particular. It's been crazy, and we've seen so many map 3 deciders. I think I had 3 in a row, maybe even 4, leading up to this cast this afternoon. So there has been, you know, some fantastic games across the channels this week. That's why I recommend you go give those other Twitch channels a follow. But yeah, round 7 shaping up here, and we get to see how this all ends up as we patiently wait for Bursek to go on defense, Loyal Dogs to go on the attack. It's worth taking a look at the KDs for this map. Over at Loyal Dogs with Hikain, we have 8 and 4. And over on Bursek, 10 and 5 for Mike, 8 and 4 for Hikain. The standout shooters on their respective teams. The next closest, 5 and 3, 5 and 4 respectively for each team. So some real standout shooters. We'll see who excels the most in this final round on Suburbia. I almost said Subway. We already played that. On Suburbia here as we get into round 7. And this objective sky is crazy.
Donnie having a loud conversation with somebody in his play space. The rest of the team is just kind of
Aguanta, aguanta.
sitting around wondering what's
Vale,
happening.
humos ahora. Humo, chavales, humo.
I think it's part of their
And
strategy.
there they go.
Yeah, I think
Could
they're.
be.
I think they're
That
waiting
was
for what
delayed.
could have been suppressive fire to come in, and then push up. Oh, or it could have been because they were having
Wow.
tech issues. Who knows? But the full smoke
Yeah,
press is
maybe
out.
debating a round. But either way, it works in their favor as the sudden smoke causes chaos in the approach. But now we're into a 4v3 almost immediately. I'm Donnie pushed up, finds one. Oxer's clearing out that carport. Now down to a 3v2. Uguay gonna need to be reacting back to the objective. Partisan going for his usual flank around I'm Donnie. Oh, it's gonna be a close one. Donnie has the potential to cap through the bushes here. If Partisan doesn't come out and check this, this is the round.
Another
but he doesn't
potential.
go for
I know they stopped going for the cap. Partisan is on the flank. Donnie
He's
is
going
here.
now.
Tablets out.
He's touching it in.
Partisan's here.
Partisan going for the flank, finds one. Oh, but he doesn't go back.
Oh my gosh, it's a race.
Oh,
Is Uguay gonna
no.
peek? Is anybody peeking? The code's taking too
They're not
long.
gonna look. Oh, no.
Bursek take
Oh.
the final round on map number 3. Loyal Dogs need to do some cat practicing. Even though they did manage to get one on Subway, maybe they need to go to that cat map that we were talking about earlier and figure that out. Either way, a fantastic series to tune into, Sky. This was a fun one.
Yeah, this one was fan-flippin-tastic here over in the Venues cast.
Oh, yeah.
Glad I got to see it.
Yeah, glad we could bring
Man.
this broadcast out to all of you fine folk that are watching on Horizon Venues. We really do appreciate you. If you are tuning in on Twitch, we will be taking you over to the Echo Arena Redshift LAN brought to you by VRML. It's a really cool
so
community-run event by the Redshift community. They are hosting a LAN right now. That means people are playing live in in real life in the same space, and we're happy to be able
Wow.
to be there alongside the community as they sort of figure out the process of doing their own LANs. And I mean, when this day and age, it's possible to really host a good, solid LAN event with a mobile headset. It doesn't take a full
Yes.
PC and everything to be able to hook it up. And so we are going to be hosting that. So if you do want to catch that, head on over to Twitch. But it'll be it for us here on the Venue Showcase on Facebook, on Meta, YouTube, and Twitch. We do appreciate all of you stopping by. Be sure to catch us next weekend, Saturday at 6 p.m. PST, Sunday at 12 for more Horizon Venues action. But until then, my name has been Nightfire with 2 E's, my co-caster, the Sky Joker, and stay classy.